Welcome, everyone, to Season 3, Episode 17. She was just 17, if you know what I mean.
Creepy.
It was. It's a creepy Beatles song.
All of them songs were creepy back in the day. Come on, Eileen, creepy. All of them.
Eileen,
creepy.
Yeah, creepy. Good point. Yeah. Beatles.
I'll
The
be watching
Baytals. Oh, Come on, Eileen's by Dexy the Midnight Runners.
Dexy's Midnight Runners, and man, is that song creepy when we listen to the lyrics. It's like, oh,
There's a lot of songs that are really creepy if you actually listen to
Yowza, these guys creeping on these young girls. I'm like, ugh.
Well, it's like, is even like poppy, even 90s songs that, like, if you actually go and like read the lyrics, it's like, how'd this get on the radio? Like, Third Eye Blind.
R&B song too.
Third Eye Blind's
Patriarchy.
Semi-Charmed Kind of Life, or Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind. It's all about doing meth. That the whole song's about doing meth. It flat out says it in the song. Like, it's part of the lyrics.
I just know that one R&B song. And the beginning of the song is, "You may be young, but you're ready." And I'm like, whoa.
What?
Hey, oh, hey, what?
Is that R.
Thanks, I
Kelly?
hate it.
Was that R. Kelly?
No, it's not. It's before R. Kelly. I cannot remember. Oh my goodness. I keep want to say Guy, but it's not Guy. I can't remember the name of that group. Oh well.
Or female children.
Creepy. Anyways, on Let's Creepy Talk, how's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Good. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Hi, beat you.
Oh man.
All right, put my green on.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh wait, I automatically win. I'm not wearing green.
Oh.
However, I'm wearing the Ska Stank.
The unveil.
The Ska Stank. You gotta love it.
The Ska Stank.
The Ska Stankiest.
Okay, can we see that again? Because I haven't seen it since I drew it, and it was literally just a rough sketch. And Alan's like, yoink.
Oh, so the microphone's kind of in the way, but see, Ska Stank.
I love that rough, sketchy look on his shirt.
Ska Stank. Gotta love it. So yeah, I've had it for a while, and I was gonna unveil it at the. I was gonna wear it at Jordan Con, and then I was like, well, since I'm like gonna be running solo, I was like, I'd rather, amongst the heads that know. So I was like, yeah, I'll just wear it this podcast episode.
Stinkiest.
The Ska Stankiest.
Yeah.
C. Yep.
I love it.
Oh, son, I finished Wave Kings. No spoilers.
Good job.
No spoilers. It's
PK Moon was watching Watt stuff. You traitor.
Oh, so was I. Not tonight. Last night I watched episodes, but
I'm hearing all kinds of good things.
it's good.
So
This
good.
season's been really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they dropped 3 episodes right off top, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and I hear they are excellent.
Yep. They're good.
Yeah.
I
just watched them all with a friend on Saturday. I watched them Thursday when they came out at like 3:00 in the morning. Well, I watched 2 episodes, and then I watched all of them with Amise because it was her birthday, and that's what she wanted to do the next day. And then I just watched them all again on Saturday.
There you
go.
I watched the first 2 Thursday night, and then last night got the third one. Because my wife and I were watching together, and we only had time for 2 on Thursday night. And then Friday, I can't remember what happened, but there's no way we could do it. And then Saturday, the kids wanted to watch the new Moana 2 on. So that I ended up falling asleep while they were watching that. So that.
Not loving the Moana, huh?
Oh, no, I like Moana. I was just tired.
I like Moana. Moana 2, I was like a little long. I feel like it was unnecessarily long.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I mean, I like the story.
I usually watch the sequels. I don't know why I've never.
Usually the sequels are like cash grabs, but Yeah. But I gotta admit though, years ago I was kind of an okay rock fan, and now I'm just like so oversaturated with this dude. I'm like, have you heard of this new concept called other actors? Just you don't have to keep putting rock in everything.
DK Moon has
and then I hear he's
with Tree.
Huh?
So DK Moon's watch stuff with Tree.
We have?
That's what it says.
Mr. Kappa. Huh. I will believe you, but I do not remember.
I mean,
but I also partake in a lot of Two Rivers to Back. So
Yeah.
My memory is not great.
Yeah. There's a lot of these watch parties that we used to do and stuff like that.
Yeah, I miss watch parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do miss Recappa.
Yeah, I miss. Yeah, we know Recappa. On the original. What's the name of the charity stream? She was on ours for our hour that we did. The very first one we ever did.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
With Twatcast.
Yeah,
they had that charity stream.
Right.
Yeah, the very first one. It was Nameless, Recappa.
How long has it been going?
That is like 5 years ago. I don't know.
5 years ago.
I remember going into Recappa's YouTube and being like, come join the Discord. And then Recappa made her own Discord. But yeah, she joined the Wheel Reads first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
But I can tell spring is coming back because I can feel my allergies. Oh, I gotta take my allergy medicine today.
Not the sniffles.
Yep. In fact, I gotta go grab a tissue real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Give me just a moment.
You.
Okay.
I miss him.
Just out of curiosity, what are you reading after Way of Kings? That's a good question. I can tell you that right now. So after Way of Kings, we will be reading a short story called Shadows for Silence. It's out of the Arcanium Unbound. So that's a short story. And then we will be reading Tress in the Emerald Sea.
Nice. Okay. I knew we were doing Tress, but I didn't know about that other one.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a interlude, and then some Tress, and then
nice.
Yeah, we're gonna bounce around the Cosmere.
2 books I haven't read. I'm so excited.
We're gonna be bouncing around the Cosmere a bit. We'll eventually get back to the Stormlight. We're gonna kind of mix up Stormlight with other stuff. I decided that we're just going to bounce around. So Arcanium Unbound, we're going to be kind of bouncing back and forth between, there's lots of short stories in that. So we're going to be bouncing into that book and then have full-length novels as well. So after the Way of Kings, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 books in short stories before we actually read Stormlight 2.
Oh, damn.
So we get a little bit of a break in between. There's not long books, but we're doing Shadows for Silence, Trust in the Emerald Sea, The Alloy of Law, which is Mistborn Heir 2, Book 1, and Warbreaker. And then we will do
Words of Radiance. Love Warbreaker so much. It's like one of my favorite books.
Yeah. So it's be fun. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna be bouncing around a little bit here and there, just to keep things, the Cosmere on toes. I came up with this idea that I'm going to interweave Mistborn Heir 2 within Stormlight, just because the events that are happening in Mistborn Heir 2 are having the same time as Stormlight. So I'm trying. They're on different planets, obviously, but I'm just trying to weave all that in.
I still think Mistborn Era 2 happens way after Era 1.
It does. So does Stormlight.
Yeah.
Oh, so they both exist way past Era 1.
Both Stormlight and Mistborn Era 2 are happening at the same time.
Okay.
Just in different planets.
Huh.
Wait, sorry, Mistborn Era 1 and Era 2 happen at the same time? No,
Mistborn Era 2 and Stormlight, what we're reading now, are happening at the same time.
Right, but he's saying Era 1 happened like way before.
Yeah, way before.
Okay. Also, in my head, I said Alan Weaves is Alan Wells.
Yes.
It checks out.
Yeah, I guess I have to read Mistborn Era 1 then. Yes, you do. Mistborn
Era 1
is so good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, get into
Chris.
that.
Hi, Chris.
Yep. All right. So, you guys ready to talk about some Stormlight? Some Cosmere stuff?
Sure.
Yeah, these were some weird chapters.
Sucks to your
This is a weird
Shadesmar.
book. This is a weird book.
Sucks to your Shadesmar, Piggy. Shadesmar. Which I don't know if it actually names Shadesmar. Does it name it in this chapter? I mean,
just the title.
It's the title. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I just call it Orbeez Land.
Orbeez Land. With all the beads.
Yeah.
Orbeez Land.
Also, it just seems like she just falls into a giant sea of Orbeez.
Into an entire Chuck E. Cheese ball pit. That's what it is. It's
exactly.
just a giant.
What did you say, Tree? A giant.
Orbeez.
What of?
A giant
Orbeez?
ocean of Orbeez.
The little
Orbeez?
The little gel balls that
Yeah, they're like hard, and then you put them in water, and they expand,
and
they kind of feel like the inside of a grape. Like if you peel a grape, like that's what they feel like.
I have never heard or seen of this thing.
No,
is it a toy or is it?
No, they're like sensory bins, and the people make like they have guns that shoot them too. But people like put them on like poles so you can like kind of like play with them. I don't know.
Sometimes they're inside like stress balls, and they're kind of squishy. Yeah, I really don't know what they're really for. They're just
I have never heard of this thing, and
Orbeez.
Now, is it like Orbeez?
I don't know.
Okay,
yeah. Orbeez. Yeah,
with a Z. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like something that would like be advertised on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
I can see that.
Okay. Well, again, I've never heard of this. You can tell my kids have all aged up, so they're all like out, like in their 20s and stuff. So
yeah,
if it's a newer thing, then they definitely didn't play with any of that stuff. So.
Well, before we get to the trippy Shadesmar area, we start with Shallan, and she's continuing her study of Gavilar's meetings with the Parshendi before his death, and she's just really fascinated yet confused about how scholarly Gavilar was towards the Parshendi. Like, she's like, that's not like him, like, to care. But
he was like really getting into like everything about them, like their differences, the songs they would sing or hum,
right, hum,
and the differences between like the ones that were their servants and then the ones that were like out
the Parshmen
the Parshmen and everything. And I was like, that's interesting. He's starting to recognize the differences, the scale armor stuff, the differences there, all that. Yeah. But he got really into it though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and it's interesting, like in just how like the Parshendi wouldn't even interact with the Parshmen. Like they wouldn't even like, interact with each other at all.
And it's not like they like look at him with disdain. They don't even acknowledge him. It's just like
whatever. Yep.
Yeah.
And then looking through another book, she actually starts to find a little bit, to do a little digging about Voidbringers. Knowing that that's, Yasna's looking into that too. So she's like, okay, let me try to figure out what these Voidbringers are that keeps on coming up. But doesn't really get that far into it before a capsule shows up. Yeah.
Right, because she's using this. Well, she wanted to go down and look into finding something about how to use the Soulcaster, kind of too.
Right. Yeah, she's trying to do a bunch of scholarly work. She's just
so she's trying to do researching. She's basically going to the restricted section of the library, like in Harry Potter or something. She's like, I'm gonna go down here and see if I can sneak in here and see what I can find. And what was it she told Yasna that she was gonna go look for? It was like some scholar or something or other. The pretense she used.
Don't remember. That's a trivia question.
So I love it when libraries actually have secret areas to them, because that's really, really cool. Like actually at the local university we have here, they have a secret library within their library. And I didn't know that till I got a tour of it one time at CNU, Christian Newport University. They have a vaulted area that you have to request to go in there. But it's actually not owned by CNU. It's actually owned by the Mariners Museum, which is across the street. And it has a lot of the original like maritime type documents all in there. It's in a vault, and it's in like really. So it actually has the original ship log, like handwritten ship log from the ship that fired on Fort Sumter to start the Civil War. It has actually handwritten letters from the Titanic. It has like a bunch of maritime like originally hand-drawn maps from the colonists and stuff like that from like Jamestown. Like it's all in there in the vault. So you can't just go wander back in there. You have to request to go in there. It's open to the public. Like you can go in there. You just have to be escorted in there, and you have to tell them what you're going and looking for. Like they have catalogs.
And of course, most big libraries have that because stuff goes out of rotation. It's like if nobody's looking at it, or if they want to have like the old books or something and make sure they don't get damaged, because now they're becoming antique.
Too. Yeah.
Right. It's like, well, you can't just like leave it up on the shelf. You got to start pulling it out of rotation, and of course you're gonna vault it. You're not gonna just give it away.
you wouldn't just have a Gutenberg Bible just hanging out, on the shelf.
Exactly. Right.
Like it just.
I'll take two of those.
Yeah, I'll take two of those. Yeah,
yeah.
But I learned a lot about it. Like you don't actually put on gloves. You actually use your bare hands to deal with old paper. It's because the oils in your hand are actually good for it. Like I learned a bunch of stuff about it. Like the gloves are actually kind of bad. I don't know. It was really interesting. Like to talk to.
That makes sense because you don't want it to become brittle.
Right.
And so if you want something to not be brittle, add oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You don't deal with a comic book, of course, because it destroys pages.
Right.
Like your finger oils and stuff.
But a lot of that was, like the pressed, it's all pressed paper. So it's different material. It's
material, right?
Really cool.
No kidding.
Anyway, cool. Fascinating. So yeah. I was like, wow, I didn't even know this was right here down the street. That's kind of cool. But anyway, I digress. So she's doing research in a bunch of old books, trying to find some old stuff. And Capsule shows up. And they start to talk about Voidbringers a bit. Have a little theological discussion about what they were, about whether or not they're just fairy tales or if they're real. It goes back to the whole thing, like, a lot of fairy tale is steeped are based on some reality. There's the theory in history that, like, obviously there's fairy tale whimsical aspects to any fairy tale, but there might be some origin behind it. The one I can think of, like the Pied Piper, for example, like a lot of people date that back to the Dancing Plagues. If you ever heard of the Dancing Plagues, and they think that's what the origin of it was. So the Dancing Plagues are real. In 1518 in Strasbourg. Wow, my history mind's coming out. The Dancing Plagues. So like one woman came out of her house and just started randomly dancing on the streets. No music, no nothing. And a couple guys started mocking her and dancing next to her. And next thing you know, the whole village is dancing. And for 4 months straight, people danced to literally, there were about 50 people a day dying from exhaustion and their feet bleeding because they wouldn't stop dancing for 4 months straight. And after 4 months, everybody just stopped dancing. And
that's crazy.
Like 400 deaths in all in Strasbourg.
Yeah.
In 1518. And no one knows why.
And it was like, everybody knows that song Listomania.
Yeah.
It's very similar with Listomania. I mean, and they're documented phenomenon.
Yeah.
And
very documented.
Nobody understands. And it's like, what the hell happened here? And it's just like,
but the whole thing at the Pied Piper,
everything was a gas leak here.
Like playing music and dancing and leading the rats out of the city, that they think a lot of the origins came from that event of people dying from the Dancing Plagues. But yeah, this weird phenomenon that to this day, no one really knows why. Like, it's just bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard of one where people just couldn't sleep. It was like the insomnia plague. People just couldn't sleep for like months at a time. But I've never heard
There's a whole bunch of that. If you want to go in a deep dive, these like weird, and they call them plagues, which is probably not a good, that's not a good term for it.
No, but it's just
they're just
phenomena that affects a lot of people, right? So plague.
Right. But it's a phenomena that just happens and they're like so unexplained. But there's probably some reason for it.
So I looked it up. Modern theories are it was either food poisoning or stress-induced mass hysteria. Those were the two modern theories on what caused it. Yeah.
I mean, think about cults and stuff, though. I mean, the things that people get wrapped up in.
Oh yeah.
It's just odd, It's like, well, why are you wrapped up in this cult? And it's like, well, at the time, it's like you got this warped into reality. You just ran with it.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Like a really good idea.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Oops! I think I just joined a cult. You had that realization, like.
Yeah. There's me and my friends are heading down to Waco.
Yeah, there's a cult that lives up in Appalachia. The 7 tribes. They hunt on hikers. So they prey on hikers. They try to get you to come join as you're hiking through. They'll come try to get you to come and join.
He said prey. He didn't mean like prey, like you're like
no.
Like that. Prey is like they're like, hey, come join us.
Yes, we're friendly. Yeah, come join our commune.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
We like hiking too.
Come join us. Yeah. It's 1518. Discovered ecstasy. Dance to drop.
See, that's what I still think that's the This is the Alondo theory. Thank you, DK Moon. That's my theory. Is somebody got into something and they was on that X and they were like, oh man, I gotta dance. And and of course, who's gonna be like scribing it down like, and then they pass the powder. No, they're gonna be like, hey, Slock, come here.
Hey, check out this new mushroom I found. Here, eat this.
Right,
come on, let's eat the mushrooms. All right, let's eat mushrooms.
Keep it on the download. Don't tell nobody. This because they sidle up next to you. Hey, you dancing? What's going on? It's like,
hey, try some of this.
Hey,
fun.
This mushroom. Here, come here. Get some of this mushroom over here. That's how it probably went down.
How it was, yeah.
Yep. And then they're calling it a phenomenon. They were all licking frogs is what happened.
Yeah.
Rock made them a big mushroom soup.
Yeah,
here it is, mushroom soup.
See, I knew we start talking about food. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time.
Somebody got into that chunky Campbell's.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. You don't have time to eat. Just nibble on these.
That's right.
Dance more. Just nibble on
That's right. Nibble and dance, baby. Nibble and dance.
What did I just walk into?
That is now the subtitle of this podcast. I don't know if you heard that. It's Nibble and Dance,
Nibble and dance.
Yep.
It's good times. So Capsule, they talk about Voidbringer some. And then she tells him her plans that she's going to leave. And sad face for Capsule. He's like, well, before you go, can you at least draw a picture of me?
So she's going to be... So she's obviously going to be upfront about this leaving thing. She's not going to thief in the night situation. She's going to put it all out there. Yeah. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I'm torn on that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she's going to say what? My papa's sick.
Yeah.
And I got to head home.
Home. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really sick. I don't think he's gonna get better.
Yeah. Nope. We can have Bernie
Pretty
style.
sure he might have a hole or two in his.
Yep. Talk about Pied Piper. They start playing the music like Weekend at Bernie's too. He just starts getting up and just dancing.
Yep.
That's the only thing I like about that movie. Weekend at Bernie's too. Just Bernie just dancing, just moving all over the place.
Oh, that's great. Anyway, so so after that she starts to draw Capsule and she goes into her trance thing again. She looks down, she's like, I'm freaked out now. The things are back.
I like the fact she was explaining. She's like, oh, here's the wall behind him, and here's the alcove, and here's the arm of the what the hell?
Yeah, here's the weird shadowy figure. Wait, what?
I liked the way but it was interesting the way she was describing it. She was like going along with the drawing.
Yeah. And then it turned into a full-on horror movie.
Then it turned into a horror book. Yes.
Yeah. She runs to the lift and gets the parchment, start loading the lift, and she's like starts sketching, like not even paying attention, and looks down and looks up, and the things are looking down at her from the top, and she's freaking out. She gets to her room,
and then they're walking. Walking through people like they're just like not even noticing them.
Yeah, but then she reaches over and touches one.
She literally touches one of them.
She feels it. She reaches where it's supposed to be, where she just drew, and she feels it. And that's where it says, "What are you?" And she says, "I'm terrified," and immediately falls through the floor. Falls through the floor into a Chuck E. Cheese ball pit.
Sea of Orbeez.
Into a Chuck E. Cheese ball pit.
Sea of Orbeez. See, now I get your joke. Now that you explain what an Orby is.
Yeah. And she falls into a giant Chuck E. Cheese ball pit. Yeah. And freaking out because she has no idea where she is now. And it's kind of freaky.
Yep. This is the second time we heard the phrase, what are you? Not who are you? What are you? What are you?
Mm-hmm.
And then don't the Orbeez start talking to her?
Yeah, they start forming around her and doing different things. And then she notices a bunch of little lights all around her too. That's another thing that she notices in there. And they start to form different things, but she starts to sink in. And they do start to talk a little bit around her. Mm-hmm. And then she's able to form back into her room and falls back into her room and ends up soul casting Or also, while this is happening, I forget to throw this out there. She reaches to the side as she's terrified and starts to count her heartbeats.
Right, because she's like, okay, well, let me start the process. Count to 10.
Mhm.
What's the 10? What
10
heartbeats? But she said she used an adjective. The 10. I don't know. I can't want to say shameful or something. I can't remember whatever
There's
the
old
adjective
memories
was
that
she used. I was
are
like,
blocked.
oh, okay, that's interesting. So, all right.
Oh yeah, like for earned shame or whatever it was.
Yeah. So anyway, so she's she's counting out the heartbeats.
Yeah.
And then
falls through.
Then the goblet situation happens.
Yeah, the goblet turns to blood and starts to boil and falls over and breaks, and blood goes everywhere.
Yeah,
and it had like some stones in it, so the stones just like dropped to the table in the blood.
She realizes she just soul casted it into because one of the five, or one of the not five, but one of the elements. Like there's I think it was
five. I think it's the five basic somethings, right?
Five somethings, essences or something like that. Or something.
That sounds close.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say you're wrong because I couldn't refute you.
Yeah, blood's one of them. So she's freaking out now because there's blood everywhere. And then
so it was the goblet that was talking to her, or it was the Orbeez that were talking to her that were like,
the Orbeez were talking to her, and I think
I've been this way for a long time, but I can change.
Say it again.
Something was like, you want me to change? I've been this way for a long time, but I can change, or I will change.
Yeah, the goblet says, so it was the Orbeez, but then when it changes, she flips back into her room.
It was such a trip. Like the scene just messed with me.
It really
I had
caught
no
me
idea
off. So I thought it was just the voice, the disembodied voice that was like talking to her. And then it was like, it freaked her out. And then it was like, kind of like, I don't know how to interact with people. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you with that Adobe to step to. And then he was like, let me switch over my that's just something
I have
else.
a stick. Sorry.
Okay. So then it's like, I'll change it to something else. And then she was like, I'll do the changing. And then she changes the goblet. And then there's blood everywhere.
Then she falls back into her room.
Starting to leak. Like
towards the door. And Yasna's banging on the door, and she realizes it's about to go under the door, and she's freaking out. She's like, if I open the door,
she said this is too much blood. She's like, this is like a lethal injury amount of blood.
Right. So quick thinking, she grabs a piece of the broken goblet or whatever and just slices her arm open.
But this part didn't math to me. I'm like, if it sounds like it's a lethal injury, then that cut is not going to be enough unless she hit like a major artery.
Yeah, and also if the goblet turned into blood, then there would be no glass shards.
Yeah.
The whole thing kind of threw me for a loop on that one.
She was just scrambling.
Plus, the blood would look like it originated from where the goblet was, right? So
it was very complicated. It was just supposed to be like an adrenaline rush, but like the context didn't quite puzzle together,
Oh yeah, I was completely confused. I was very confused on this chapter at the end of this chapter.
Right.
Yeah, and then I was like, and then she like, faked that she passed out. But then she's like, and I had to make sure that, in the safe pouches where the soul caster is. I'm like, but if you're unconscious, the first thing you're going to do is like pick you up and inspect you. And I'm like, how does this work?
Yeah. Well, she did say right after. Like,
she hoped that they wouldn't go through.
This was not a good idea.
Yeah. No.
She knows it wasn't a good idea. But
it is just riddled with issues. So.
But what else was she going to do in the moment?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's like now it just kind of looks like someone kind of attacked her, but.
Yeah. So what do you think these weird things are, Orlando?
They're Orbeez. We already established.
Okay, obviously
they're Orbeez.
I mean, Orbeez. I've been told that they're Orbeez.
They're Orbeez-Spren.
Yes.
Orbeez-Spren.
Now, I've got nothing right. I've got nothing on this. I mean, every time I think I've kind of got. Yeah, sure they are. But every time I think that I've got some of this book figured out, it throws like another chapter at me where I'm like, oh, no clue. No clue. And we're at chapter like, we're getting close to like 50, and I still feel like I'm like only like got a 10% understanding of what's going on in the world here. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how we end this chapter. Yasna running in and seeing her, and she's that's it. We're done.
We did it.
Any thoughts?
I mean, maybe
it was weird.
Maybe she can play this off like she just had like some like manic episode, and this is more reason why she has to go home is to be with her dad, and she can play it off like she just had like some type of crazy thing happen with her, and she just like lost her all sensibilities and something.
It's just a wild night.
I don't know. She was sleep deprived.
Yeah,
she took a little bit of mushroom, a little bit of X. She didn't know what she was doing. She, roaming around the room, cut herself.
I mean, you ever had one of those nights as times like where you try to like grab something and then it falls and then you end up like destroying everything in the process of trying to juggle things around, and, like everything's like crashing around you and like
no, that sounds like
just me. Just me.
Yes, just you. I've never had that.
I've had days where things just keep going wrong. Right?
I remember in college, like I had a black light because everyone had black lights in the dorm room, and I went to go like move it for some reason, and it slipped in my hands, and like I flailed to go try to grab it, and ended up knocking it and crashing against the wall. And then when I hit the other way, my lamp went over, and like crashed and broke, and like next thing I know, like there's just things broken all around me. I'm like,
it's a domino effect,
and I just feel like an idiot now. I should just let it fall.
No, I've never.
So trying to catch the one thing you actually cause more calamity.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
Everything just starts to fall apart around me. Like, okay, I should have just let it go.
I did have a super embarrassing moment like that once, but it was in like we used to have these shops where you could buy like weed things like bongs and pipes and all that kind of stuff, right? And I just went in, I was looking because it's pretty, like there's lots of really cool sculptures, and I really wasn't into it, but I was with friends that were like, oh, I want to go in here, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go in and I'm looking at like these really cool sculptures in like this glass cabinet, and then I lifted my head up and there was a shelf above my head like on the wall with like all of these really big freaking like bongs on it, and I hit my head and they all come down and the shelf comes down, and I tried to catch some of them. It was so bad, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to buy all of these things.
It really just stuff just shattering just all around you. Exactly. Oh my gosh, so yes.
And thankfully they were like, they knew it was an accident and they felt really bad and wanted to make sure I was okay, because literally a bunch of glass objects
broke around you. It could hit you. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous situation.
There's like videos online of like people in libraries like trying to pull a book off a shelf and like falling back in hidden stacks, and they all start dominoing over and the whole library's collapses.
That's real?
It was like that.
Yeah,
but
it just happens in the movies. That happens in real life.
It happens in real life.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I need to see this video.
Also, who puts a shelf right over like a glass cabinet?
Yeah, that's not a. I mean, because the expectation is that you're going to look in the top of the glass cabinet, right?
And then there's one
unless you're a child
further in, like
unless you're a child and looking at it from the front. But I mean,
yeah, it was bad.
What child is walking in that place?
Apparently, me, a grown-up child.
But it's not like you're going to squat in front of it. You're going to look down at it from and so why would you put a shelf over top? That makes no sense at all. So, well, they learned their lesson, didn't they?
Yep, they sure did.
After the third person came in there and broke that glass stuff, they were like, maybe we should stop doing this.
Yeah. I still felt really bad about it, though.
Oh, of course. I mean, of course, you didn't go in there maliciously, like, no. I'm going to mess up all your glasses.
Yeah, especially knowing that a lot of them are, like, hand blown.
Oh, yeah, they're all, like they are very elaborate.
Art sculptures. Like,
they're definitely art. I know a bunch of people that actually collect those, and I can see why. I mean, some of them are so elaborate. I mean, the colors and stuff they do, and I mean, and you think, oh, it's just like a little like bone thing. These things are like 4 and 5 feet tall, and just got like this elaborate like intertwine, like funnel shapes and everything. I think they're extremely cool.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Anyway, but that's the worst
I've
ever done.
All right. Anything else in this chapter besides the glass bongs?
I don't know.
Again, I understood like 4% of it.
Cool.
Yeah, same. And this is the second time I read it, and
Cool.
still absorbed.
Oh, right. And Tree saying that has helped me bolster my confidence that I am not an idiot. Thank you, Tree.
Oh, we did forget to do the epigraph, which was Yelingnar called Lightwind was one that could speak like a man, though often his voice was accompanied by the walls of those he consumed. These things don't really make sense. So the next one, chapter 46, Child of Tanavast. Though I was due for dinner in Vaden City that night, I insisted upon visiting Kolinar to speak with Tivbet. The tariffs through Irithiru were growing quite unreasonable. By then, the so-called Radiants had already begun to show their true nature. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So we start with Kaladin.
I definitely zoned out on every one of these epigraphs.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think that 4% on the last chapter was bad, I'm about like 1.5% on these epigraphs. I'm like, yeah. So words were strung together. That's all I can say at this point in time. Words were strung together.
But now we're in a really trippy. So we go from one trippy scene to the next. With this one with Kaladin.
And I thought this was gonna be just as bad, but it was actually. This had a lot of Wheel of Time vibe to it for me.
Yeah, he's dreaming. Yeah, he's riding a high storm, sweep across Rishar, and he's viewing a lot of places and people and large portions he's never seen before. And Kaladin sees flashing lights. And everything appears to be physical, like he could actually reach out and touch it. Just kind of flying across the entire world on his magic carpet. Approaching them, he sees a building, like a city built in a triangle pattern, and bursts through there and sees a large man with shin eyes and a shard blade, wearing all white. He assumes that must be the assassin white.
Who also sees him.
Right, who also sees him.
Yeah.
Or it's assumed that he sees him.
Yeah.
Right. It's like something happens.
Like someone just looks at that in that direction.
It feels like to Kaladin. It feels like see him too. Yeah.
Right. It's like he has a feeling though. It's not quite just like a lock eyes thing. It's like a feeling that maybe some kind of connection.
Then as he nears the Western Ocean, Kaladin separates from the storm and hears a booming voice that calls Kaladin the Child of Tanavast, Child of Honor, and warns him that Odium comes.
Odium.
He comes.
Odium comes. And Kaladin asks the storm, or the voice, why is there so much war? And the voice responds, Odium reigns. And then Kaladin wakes up.
And we see the face again.
Mm-hmm.
The big face, the huge face with eyes made of stars. And its wide expanse of a face.
Yeah. He wakes up being held down by something, and he instinctively starts to fight, but realizes it's his bridge mates. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they tell him that, during the high storm, he started dreaming. It's very, very similar to someone else that dreams.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, this is kind of some parallels.
Nice little throwback there, huh?
Yeah.
But instead of it being like the past, he gets to astral project across the world as it is now.
Exactly.
Or maybe it isn't. Maybe he was still seeing memories. Like maybe it isn't like present. I don't know.
Look, all I know is that I got some Randolph Thor. I got some Randolph Thor vibes with that whole like traversing across the land and all that, like in the dream state.
Yeah.
It screamed Wheel of Time to me. So I was like, it's just felt like that.
Yeah.
I think the thing I was most interested from that segment was how he described the shattered plains, how he said it was symmetrical with a big thing in the middle.
It had a pattern when you looked at it from up above.
A pattern. And he saw like the oh my goodness, the Parshendi.
Right.
Yeah.
And on their end, he said like it was like a lot more like worn down. Like all the plateaus over there were like much more worn down than on the end that we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
So
they've
it's like-
been there for a while. They've been
They've been there for a while, much
building
more,
from the
you know,
land and
worn down by all the storms and everything, much more so than, and of course would be. I mean, if it's going from east to west,
Right.
that side would get hit first,
Right.
and then as the storm would
I didn't
probably.
think of it like that. I just thought of it like this is where they live. They live literally off of this land, so they're using the land and building from the land and carving into the land.
Oh, okay.
That was my
okay.
interpretation anyway. But
Either
yours
could
also
be right.
totally valid, of course.
Yeah.
It could be that.
I didn't even think about it that way though, because they've been there. See, because I mean, the people that we're observing from the perspective of are there with one purpose, and that's to go there to get these, you know, basically get these chasm beasts.
Yeah. And they're on the
And-
very outskirts. Like when you look
Right,
at the map,
but they
you
don't
see,
really
like,
go
little
into
pockets.
that. They don't live there, whereas
Right.
the Parshendi do. They live there. This is like their hunting grounds, essentially, because that's how they found. Because they talked about that in the other chapter. They found out that this was when they were reading the king's notes, and he was talking about how they found out about these beasts from them, the Parshendi, and then they were like, "Oh, but they have like these shard hearts," and they were like, "Hey, we need to go check into that." So
We need
obviously
the
for
big
them-
shinies.
say again.
We need the big shinies.
Exactly, the big olds.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Fun times.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he wakes up, starts getting a fight, realizes bridge mates. You know, they hold him down because, you know, while he was dreaming. They all go out to bathe in the riddance because that's what you do when it's still raining. And Kaladin decides to accept a shave from Rock. So Kaladin's getting shaved, and Rock tells him that Sigzil is a world singer. Something new that we've seen.
Oh, I was going to change my name to that.
Ooh, do it now. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, I was going to say Doughboy World Singer.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And also during this, they get assigned a new bridge crew member, a Parshendi.
Yay.
Yeah, this is kind of
What did
Yeah.
they name him? Kaladin
They-
just gave him a name.
Yeah, they asked him his name is, and he didn't even bother to answer. So he's like, "We'll just call you Shin.
Shen.
Yep, just Shen.
We'll just call you Shin. That's your name now."
And he just goes,
That's right, because they said you'd be lucky if you get one word out of him.
It reminds me of like in college, like there was a guy like when I used to coach the William Mary sailing team, and Ian was on the sailing team, and there was a kid, a freshman, and he was joining the sailing team, and like a lot of people had nicknames and things like that, and we were talking about nicknames we had, and gets to him, he's like, "Yeah, I've never had a nickname that stuck," and out of nowhere, Ian just goes, "You are now a meatwad," and instantly stuck. Like, I mean, he was meatwad.
Like Aqua Teen Hunger Force meat.
Yeah,
Wad?
like Aqua Teen Hunger Force meatwad.
Okay.
And just like randomly, like out of nowhere, it's like
Okay.
you're meatwad. And that became his nickname. Everyone knew him as meatwad after that. And it was just literally one of those
Gotcha.
things where you are Shin. Like it's like,
Hmm.
okay, that's what he is now. Like no
Well, we went
context,
to the,
nothing like
we
Shen.
went to the championship Sugar Bowl game, Florida State versus Virginia Tech, and we went with one of my brother's college friends, and this guy was always super quiet. His name was Daniel, and we called him Comic Relief because he never spoke. But Lord have mercy, every time he said something, it was just instant comedy.
yeah.
It was
I
just,
love
it was
those
always the most.
people.
It was one of the funniest things you'd ever heard in your life. It's like he wouldn't say anything, and then he would say something, and we would be just like bawling, just like, "Oh my god, it's the funniest thing ever!" You know, and it's like he just never spoke. It was like if he
love
didn't speak up, if he did speak up, you were listening because you were like, wait, he's about to say some funny stuff right now.
It's be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be real good. That's right.
Yeah. But so they get this new get Shin, and you know, some of the bridge members are, you know, like, well, at least they can take an arrow for us. And Syl does not like that at all. She's like,
Oh
Kaladin's
man.
Rude.
Well, because they've already been having this conversation about what would you do if you ruled the world? Well, the first thing I would do is I would change the whole system, and I would make the system better.
Yeah. When really
know,
they
they're
just
all
meant
like-
they would
It's
switch
like,
it. so that
but
they
we'll just
were-
You're just
switch-
going to be the oppressor.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's all that's going to
all.
happen, right?
Right.
So you're no longer going to be the oppressed. You're going to be the oppressor.
Professor.
So you might make it better for you, but
Right.
you're not making it better for the world.
There you go. And it comes up immediately
Mhm.
right in their faces when they have this person come in, this from a different race that they don't understand, and they're like, well, he's not as good as us, that kind of thing, and it's just immediate, just right in their faces about how
we'll just use how fodder.
Yeah, exactly. We'll use them as cannon fodder.
Yeah.
So you can just hear how hypocritical everything they just said just moments ago really was.
And Kaladin's like, yeah, we're not doing that. He's one of us now. He's Bridgman.
Yep. He's a Bridgman.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't matter where he came from. Doesn't matter who he is. He's Bridgman.
And even though they have no evidence of the fact that, they have any type of violent tendencies or whatever, all they can think of is, I'll make sure he doesn't stab you in the back. And it's like, nowhere in any of this book has it ever been said that they're violent, that they do anything, that they
like
serve diligently.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They have never done anything wrong. And so the fact that somebody's just like, well, you're different. Guess you're going to be stabbing us.
Yeah. It's like, wait, what? This culture that you're not even a part of that we're fighting. So obviously you're going to vote for them because you look like each other.
And then they were like, oh, he's going to betray us. He's going to betray our plans. He's like, they don't even speak. Who's he going to betray us to? They don't say anything. Yeah. The whole thing is it was just really shedding the light on exactly how, that type of stereotypical bigotry can like persist, just because like, well, you're different than me, so you must be evil. And it's like, no, he's not doing anything bad. He's just living life.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what I am curious about though is why did he get selected? That part I'm still not sure I quite understand.
In my heart, I would have thought it was an eeny, meeny, miny, mo situation.
And so they were just like, well, we just want to do an experiment, and you are the unlucky recipient, participant of this experiment. Okay. That's and I can see that. Sure, I can see that.
But we can find out different.
Yep.
We may, but again, I'm a little curious about that piece because I'm like, I can't imagine him doing something bad to get there like everybody else is.
Yeah.
Sure.
And he's just diligently just been put in that position, and it's like, well, you're gonna now carry bridges, and he's like, and that's it. That's all he's just like,
okay.
He just marches off into it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So after this, Kaladin's going in, walking around camp. He spots Syl, goes over to talk to Syl. He's like, hey, I got something I got to ask you about. Have you ever heard of this guy? And Syl's like, oh, who? He's like, this guy named Odium? And she hisses and runs away.
Runs away.
Man, she has a visceral reaction at that.
Visceral reaction. She's like,
who taught you that name?
Yeah.
Okay, but can we talk about how Syl is dressed like the shopkeepers? She's got like
what's this all about? She's getting
outfit.
She's getting flair like she's in Office Space now. She's just like, I put on my piece of flair and I got my hat.
It's so cute.
I do think she's cute though. The way she's like got like little cosmetic flair going on.
Yeah.
And she's just really building out her personality a lot. You think
she's
about
trying to express herself with clothing. Like that's so human. It's so cute.
Yeah. And I wish I had downloaded the clip for this because there's a great clip from this scene that's actually someone made like a TikTok about this scene, this next scene that happens where the officer's beating a prostitute in the street, and Kaladin starts to go intervene, but then another high-ranking officer in blue comes onto the scene and disrupts it, and basically calls out this other person. And it's Adolin, who we've met from other chapters.
Right.
The clip is like, it's because he calls Kaladin Bridge Boy, and it's the Zoolander clip when like Zoolander and Owen Wilson's character like bump into each other and goes, "Bra, don't call me bra, like don't call me Bridge Boy." Hi, Bridge Boy, don't call me Bridge Boy.
Because it's like halfway trying to be like, I'm a nice guy, but then he called him Bridge Boy and just kind of just threw the emerald at him.
Yeah.
Go pass on the message. And it's like,
Bridge Boy, here, go pass on the message for me. He's like,
so it's like,
who the F for you?
He was so close to being a really good stand-up dude.
He was so close to being a bro, and then he just turned into just like a Chad. And I was like, okay, Giga Chad, whatever.
I wonder if Adolin acts like. I guess they don't have bridge crews where in his like in.
No, because they use the machines. Yeah, they use the actual bridge machines.
I was gonna say, I wonder if he
Right.
acts that way with his like people in his
camp,
but they don't have them, so never mind.
But Caliban's torn by this too because like, why is Elias helping like a prostitute? Like like this.
Yeah, but she's a light eyes.
What
she's a light eye prostitute though. She's not like.
But what's in it for him? Like, what's the angle? Like, is what he's trying to figure out. Like,
oh right,
yeah,
yeah.
Light eyes don't help people.
Like, he's like, is he a mensch or is he not a mensch? You know?
Yeah.
You don't know.
We don't know. Adolin goes off. He summons his shard blade and everything. He's like, "You really want to do this? You really want to do this?"
Yeah, I mean, he's already got the armor on. I mean, he's ain't nobody gonna hurt him.
Yeah. But yeah, does all this stuff that looks really chivalrous and looks like he's a really good guy, and even turns down. The girl tries to throw herself at Adolin, and he's like, "No, my father would kill me." Can't do that.
Yeah, she's like, let me break you off a little piece, and he's like, nah.
Okay. It flips an emerald chip at Kaladin, says that he won't be at the meeting. And Kaladin's like looking at it and like, I'm not gonna pass on this message for call me a bridge boy.
Man, he gets some kind of in his feelings about it though.
Salty.
Yeah.
He gets all of it. Yeah, he gets all of it in his feelings. He's like, and he's just conflicted. He doesn't know how to think about this guy, and he's like, I don't like you. I hate you. And then he's like, man, I'm just as bad as everybody else talking about the Parshendi. Yeah. The Parchment. A couple of seconds ago, he's like, this is the way I feel about these guys. And he's like, man.
I imagine like meeting the popular dude at high school and just immediately like, ugh, you're the worst. Like, why would anybody like you? Even if he is a really nice guy who tries to do things, like you'll find something wrong with him. You're just like, that guy is the worst. I hate him so much.
Shoot, the most popular guy at my high school. I went back to my high school reunion and I swore to myself when I saw him, I was gonna just hit him in his face because that guy was like
himself in the face because Alonda was the most popular guy.
Oh no,
I believe
was not. But I'm telling you right now, this guy, I said if I saw him at the high school reunion, because I was like, man, you used to torture me some kind of awful back in like school. And I was like, I just want to just hit him, and he never showed up. Son of a bitch. And every time I went, he never showed up. God.
I haven't been to any of mine, and I have no interest in going.
Like, my sister,
Alonda, it might be healthy just to let that go. Forgive.
Oh no! Oh no! I'm never letting it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. It's really healthy mental health wise.
Nope. My sister went to our last high school reunion because it was our high school reunion. It was just the which one? Jeez, it could have been 35th. I don't know, whatever reunion it was. Anyway, so she went, and that was we were in Scandinavia at the time. And I was really hoping I could go because I haven't been in like a long time, but it's like in the middle of the summer. And Florida summers are hot. And I don't do that no more. That's back when I was growing up. I could do that where it was like, because it's super humid there. So like 100 degrees in Florida heat is like 115. Because it's just oppressive, like water everywhere, essentially, because we live right there on the coast. So I'm like, the only time I go to Florida is if it's in December or January. That's it. Yeah. That's my extent.
I've never been to any of my high school reunions. I mean, obviously I know when they happen, but I've never actually gone to a single one.
Never gone. My thing is though, that's the only way I could even see the people from high school because I grew up in Florida and none of them. Well, there's like actually a couple people here, but all my friends from high school are all the way down in Florida or Southeast. So that's the reason I've gone, is just because that's the only way I could ever see them. Yeah. If they were here, I would never go to high school reunion if they were like all here and I could hang out with them anytime. Dude.
I went to school here. And the people that moved away, like, I don't know, they even come back. So like I just go and hang out with people that I don't see anymore, but like
Exactly.
around here.
Like, I hang out with them. I don't have
I can hang out with them whenever I want if I wanted
care.
to. I don't want to. So
Got you.
there's a choice.
Plus, they all called me whatever person I was dating girlfriend at the time. So,
Yeah.
like,
Oh no!
this person's girlfriend. I'm like, yeah.
Hey, Arm Candy, how you doing?
Yeah.
That's basically what your role.
Yeah, I don't need to go to high school reunions.
man.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I have one friend that I still have from high school, and the rest are just people that exist on Facebook, but I don't actually like pay attention to or go on Facebook ever.
I still have a few friends that like we'll hang out like once a year. Like it's not like in a group. Like it's like each individual like I'll see and hang out with like once a year. That they're still like all locals, but it's just and even that like it's usually just in passing. Like we'll go like the 4th of July parade or something like that, and they'll be there like, hey, it's been a while. Catch for 5 minutes and then.
Yeah, see, that's what I feel like. Even though I live down there, it's probably what I would probably end up like. I'd probably run into them like every so often. You would think you're going to hang out, but it's like, you grow apart. You're different people now. I get
the random text message every once in a while, like, "Hey, we should hang out." Like, yeah, we should, and then it never happens.
Yep. And I'm the one always trying to make things happen. I'm like, "Hey, you said you were going to be in the area. Let's go hang out." And they're like, "Well, I really want to catch this episode of Wheel of Fortune." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you're not serious about it."
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so that's where we're in the chapter. Yeah,
we did it.
So Syl doesn't really divulge anything. He doesn't really like ask her about, you know.
She just comes back and pretends like nothing happened. Like she didn't just run away.
Yep.
Not gonna bring up odium anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know
whatever
what you're talking about.
We don't talk about odium. No,
Talon being called those names: Child of Tenebris, Child of Honor. No thoughts.
No.
Who do you think odium is?
The bad guy.
Voldemort.
Voldemort.
He who shall not be named.
He's been named. Odium has been named in the epigraphs before this. So.
I did pick
and
up.
I pay so much attention to those.
Yeah. I picked up on that, but I mean, it's not surprising that I picked up on that.
So in the last section, let's go see it. That was in the letter. Let's see where it says it. I'm going through it right now.
Sounds like sodium.
That's what I kept thinking of. It's the new element.
Yes.
Odium. It's got electrolytes.
Electrolytes.
Never mind. It's not. He doesn't get named.
No, I thought I heard it.
You sure? Because I wouldn't put it past Brandon Sanderson to do that. He would have put it in earlier.
Well, I mean, this is not really spoilery.
Yeah, because I could have sworn
he's talked about, but not by name.
Oh,
not by name. I'm trying to figure out though what's the thing that oh my goodness, the end of days creatures, whatever they're called. Why can I not remember the name?
Thunderclast?
No. What she's about to. She was going to research in the library. What are those things?
Voidbringers.
Voidbringers.
Oh yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out why is it so taboo to talk about these Voidbringers. I'm still not sure I understand why. Is it like you don't even want to speak about it, and it's like lost to history, or
I think they're just like little fairy tales things. It's like I don't know, it's something kids talk about. And it's like,
I thought people use them as like a swear.
Yeah,
haven't they used it as like a slur?
I think,
but I guess I'm just trying to understand why is it like I feel like it's not just a taboo thing, or like you're saying like the boogeyman kind of thing where it's like this thing used to exist. I mean, it's almost like frowned upon to even look into it. Like you shouldn't be following up on this at all.
Yeah, Let's see. Was it Heinrich Schliemann? He's the archaeologist in the 1800s who found Troy. So that was a very similar thing in history societies. He's a German historian and an archaeologist, and he told everybody he was going to go try to find Troy, and everyone laughed at him because it was obviously made up. Like it's a fairy tale from Greek mythology.
It's a fairy tale.
Yeah, it doesn't actually exist. So he actually took the the Odyssey and the Iliad, and traced back the footsteps and started digging where he thought it would be. And sure enough, there was a city right there. And
but there's a whole bunch of cities like that.
Right. Yes, but there was a city. So like
people didn't. There was people that really thought that Babylon never existed.
Sure.
Before it was found. They found the ruins of it. Well, there's even in that mountains. What they found, like something that looks like the Ark, the like Noah's Ark kind of thing. Even though it's not necessarily Noah's Ark, but there's like a boat that looks like it. So it's like, even if, let's just say these are all parables. They're probably still based on something. Like real.
That is true. Odium is an English language word. Yes.
So I love looking into. I've gotten so into etymology lately.
Definition of odium: general or widespread hatred or disgust directed towards someone as a result of their actions.
Right, because the word odious is the word
used in a sentence.
Yeah.
His job made him a target of public hostility and odium.
See, so it's just basically a noun version of an adjective.
Mm-hmm.
So odium would be the noun. Odious would be the adjective. Yeah. That all makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did think sodium the whole time.
Sodium.
Sodium, the secret
Sodium
killer.
Comes. You salt the earth.
Yeah. Sodium. What's odium? It's better for your heart.
Yeah.
Good times. So, no theories about any of that. What any of that means?
Man,
Still's
you could have.
reaction.
I just gotta hope I understand what the heck I read.
Yeah. Okay. I can give it that.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Promise.
I know. This was not a.
This was a lot, and it was really weird, and hard to absorb.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would use the word esoteric to describe some of the stuff that happened in these chapters.
They're good chapters, though.
I feel like these are good chapters
on a reread.
I feel like these would be great reread chapters.
These are great reread chapters.
Because I guarantee you, we're going to get to the end of this book. I'm going to go back and reread these chapters and be like, duh. That kind of thing, But
yeah,
right now, I'm just like, I guess I'm dumb.
Alan looked really disappointed that there's no theory time.
I know. It's okay.
Yeah, I got no theory time.
Alan, we could.
Sorry, man. Nah.
That's okay.
I'm afraid to say anything because I do know a little bit more, obviously. But
right.
That's fine. It's fine. So favorite character.
Oh, and I had my man picked out in what's his? Is his name Zigzil?
Zigzil.
I don't know. Something about him is like
I
was listening to him this time, and I was like, I don't know. Something on his vibe. I feel like there's more to him. I'm kind of looking forward to hearing more about this guy. So,
world singerish.
Yeah. The world singer.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot that he's he has darker skin and light eyes. Is that the way he's described?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember exactly what his appearance is.
Yeah, I know he has darker skin, but I don't remember.
He's darker skin.
Okay, darker skin, and I think he was kind of skinnier dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Appearance. Dark. Zigzil is clean shaven with dark brown skin and thick curly black hair.
Curly black hair.
Okay. He's from Azir, where they hang the people. It's an island. Let's see. It's in Roshar. He's considered very tall compared to people.
He was tall. That was the. I knew there was another characteristic about him. I was trying to remember, but he's tall. Right.
He's tall.
Okay, got it. Anyway, I feel like there's a lot there. He really did not blowing up this spot about the world singer thing. He was like, "Well, what? No, you didn't know."
Yeah.
He tried to shy away from that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why are you so secretive?
Why are you so secretive, guy?
Yeah.
Why you always lie?
I always lying.
And how do you spell his name?
Zigzil. It's Sigzil.
Oh, Zigzil. Okay, like that. Because the pronunciation, and I can tell they're trying to pronounce it the way that whoever is saying it is pronouncing it, so it kind of comes off a little odd when I hear it. So it never really quite sounds the same 2 times in a row.
Zigzil.
Zigzil. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know who to pick. I wanted to pick Adolin until he just threw the emerald thing on the ground to Kaladin, because that was kind of rude.
It was rude, but
I guess I'll pick Shen because he's new and he seems likable. So I'll just pick him. Someone needs to like him, he needs a friend.
Absolutely.
I'll be his friend.
There you go. I like it. That's a good pick.
The character I want to pick has not been named yet, so I can't.
Oh no!
So it's a character that was in these chapters but has not been named.
Just describe them.
They have weird simple heads.
They have what?
They have weird symbol heads.
Oh, weird symbol heads.
You're picking weird symbol head, dude.
I think weird symbol heads.
There's 5 of them. So
yeah.
You'd be like, the second from the left.
The one that says, "What are you?"
The one that
says, "What are you?" Yes.
What are you?
Okay.
Right.
Is that who I'm thinking it is? Because I wasn't
think so.
sure.
I think it is.
Okay, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
I'm very excited for that character, by the way, because that character is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Like all time.
It is. Yeah.
Symbol head. I like to everyone to call him Symbol head until we figure out what he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Anyway,
we should get into the. Didn't you say we're getting close to the end of this part?
Next week we're gonna finish the part. Yep.
Okay.
So we're gonna
have
5 chapters next week.
Okay.
So
We're spoiled. We're so spoiled.
47, 48, 49, 50, 51. So it's storm blessings.
So must be a Sanderlanche if we can get through 5 chapters. They must be like leading up to something, and that means they're gonna be quick and full of vigor.
One can only hope.
And we'll go through the chapter titles, which is Storm Blessings. Chapter 47. 48 is Strawberry. Chapter
like the way we spell it, strawberry.
Yes, the way we spell it, strawberry. Chapter 49, to care.
To care.
Yeah, T-O, not the number.
Okay.
To care.
50,
Backbreaker Powder. And 51, Sasnan.
That sounds like without non.
We've heard that word before, Sasnan.
Sasnan.
It's the mark on Kaladin's head. It's the Sasnan.
Oh, okay, because I know like they get like their
slave mark.
Non, 7th non. Sasnan sounds like without non, but that's just because I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's the It's the mark that's etched into Kaladin's word.
It sounds like how you ask for nothing on top of your spaghetti in Latin. Sasnan.
Sasnan.
Yeah.
It's Sasnahn.
What is this? Can we know like what that symbol means, the Sasnan, or is that a spoiler?
Hold on, let me see what it means. It's what does it mean? I'm trying to remember the exact decoration. It's just slave. I think that's what it means.
That's all it means? I thought it meant something a lot more.
Maybe not. Hold on.
Well, Kaladin has.
I thought I remembered the way he described it.
He has his slave brand, and then he also has his like danger brand.
Yeah, like a danger
he has
brand.
His deserter brand, I think.
Right.
So he has 3.
Yeah, because it sounded like he was like got a dangerous one.
I'm going through all the glyphs right now. Let's see.
Okay.
Sauce. Let's see. Let's go with non. Let's see if I find non. Non. It's not related. Non means not related to the non-cast. It's not related to the non-cast. Meaning unknown. Sauce meaning unknown. Oh, thanks.
Oh,
that doesn't help.
Very informative, Google.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I'm on Coppermind. Someone probably in chat's already said what it is. But no one has. Anybody know what sauce?
I just remember.
Oh,
were you asking the chat?
We'll figure it out, I'm sure.
Ask chat.
But yeah, these seem like they're going to be very good chapters if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Well, you're heading into the end of a part, so I assume Should be some good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Okay.
Strawberry
So,
sticks,
Sosnon is the slave's mark. Yeah, that's what it is. Sosnon is the slave's mark.
the slave mark. Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't mean something else, but it's the slave mark.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Cool.
So anyway,
Yeah, that was short and sweet.
it was.
Sorry,
They were long chapters, but there's a lot of
Well, they were long
exposition.
chapters, but yeah, it was. But we weren't gonna opine on like the way that like he went through the building and like blew up the women's skirts and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
we
Like,
want to talk
was
about
cool. It was really cool though.
that. It was very descriptive about how he really felt like he was like in that, and like he was like whipping through the hallway and everything.
Yeah.
It was kind of a cool effect, you know.
It was, yeah. He was like the wind, and he
Right.
touched everything.
Yep. Oh, what was the lands that they were talking about? When Sigsil was talking with Rock. No, it wasn't Rock. It was somebody else. But they were talking about like the bar, something, and then Rock was like, "Yeah, I know of that place. I can't remember the name of it. But I feel like it was like Barber or something or Barber.
Yeah, I don't.
When
That doesn't
Odin
sound
was
right.
being wind.
No, this is just they were talking.
They were just talking.
Yeah, they were just talking afterwards.
This is
But
during
it's just the
the
fact that,
during the World Singer conversation.
yeah, but it's just so odd though that they're like talking about a land and like, I mean, the fact that they can refer to an area. Imagine it's like we were talking about a place on Earth and somebody was like, "Hey, have you heard of Myanmar?" And they were like, "Yeah, that's some like non-existent place, you know, blah blah blah." And, you know, somebody be like, "No, I've been there." What are you talking about? The fact they could talk about a place and be like, "No, that's a real place. I've been there," and you're like, "No, that's an imaginary place." No, it's real. I mean, I just find it interesting that they're on a world where that type of conversation still happens, where someone's like, "Yeah, that place is made up." And, you know, you were just talking about Troy, for example, and it's like, "No, that's a real place." Yeah.
Now there is a place on a lot of old maps called Frizzland that doesn't exist, which is pretty cool.
Frizzland. Everyone with frizzy hair goes there to live.
Sure.
Yeah, Frizzland. It's actually in the. It's just south of Iceland on old maps, and it's basically the Vikings Atlantis story. But there's like an old maps, like people started drawing it there, and then just people would copy maps, and no one would go to see if it was actually there or not. And there's city names and everything on all the old maps. It has city names and the whole island, like different towns on the island and everything like that. And the island never existed.
Wow.
As far as we know, the island was never there.
Dang.
That was just Viking or Norse mythology. One of these mythological islands, Frizzland. So, like any old globe or any old map, you can see you'll have Greenland, Iceland, and then it's a little tiny island, Frizzland.
Frizzland. Interesting.
Yeah,
I really liked it though. It was a really nice little world building tool to just see a bunch of stuff really fast. And I'm sure there was lots of little hints about stuff.
Again,
there.
These two
chapters, there was definitely lots of things that were sneaky.
I stand by the fact that these two chapters are going to be great on a reread. So I've got them like earmarked to make sure I come back and listen to them because I know they're going to be important. Because you'd be like, well, we talked about it in chapter 40, whatever chapter these are. 45, 46 or
46.
I really am debating on starting to take notes. So. I don't trust my brain. I should probably write some of these things down because like there's things that come up when I'm listening to it. I'm like, that's interesting. You should definitely talk about that later. And then like an hour goes by and I've completely forgotten what that thing was.
Do you read day of or you read the day before?
I used to do the day before, but now I do the day of.
Okay. Because I do 6 o'clock. That's when I read. So that way it's all still fresh in my mind. It worked better than when I was trying to write notes because sometimes I would be scribbling notes while I was hearing something. And then I would we would get on the podcast and I'd be reading my notes and I was like, why did I write this down? Why did I think this is important? It's because I don't have the context of the sentences around it.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
that's fun though. I like that. And I would like to do that and then like we could like figure it out.
So then when I'm like, well, I wrote something down about a pot. And you guys would be like,
pot.
a pot.
The blue pot. The pot.
Let's decipher this
Who
pot
says
situation.
Exactly.
Well,
Good
I could try it.
Yeah, I'll do it too, and we can figure out like.
Shoot, we try. Yeah, try to decipher.
You do yours on your bike, right? Like you.
Right.
I usually do a puzzle. Like I'm doing a jigsaw puzzle, so I could totally take notes.
Well, I could do that if I do it the day before. Like, let's say I listen to it on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could do that instead because usually nothing going on Sunday evening. So I could like listen to the chapters, especially like right now when it's like gotten nice outside. I'll sit out on the back porch or on my front porch, and like right now I think there might be some lightning bugs or something kind of starting to do things. So yeah, it'd be cool if I could kind of sit out there and watch those. But yeah, if I'm doing it like the day before, then I'll take my tablet and I can write some notes up and see what happens with that.
Yeah, I think it's about time for that because at this point, so many things are just going through the sieve of.
I usually listen when I'm driving my car, so I can't really take notes because that's.
Well, you don't have to take notes, Alan.
I don't.
Yeah, but you probably read this book like how many times?
This is, I think, my 4th time reading it.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Alan, there's other books in the world.
There are, and I read those too.
This is coming from a person who, like, every time I work, because I do art after this with my friend, and we always listen to an audiobook. Every single one of those books I've already read. So this year we've gone through like 10. I guess whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna start getting into some other books because I'm like racking up some Audible credits right now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I'm like, I've got to start expanding out.
The Expanse series is really good. The Expanse series is really good. The Expanse is really good.
I think I'm going to get back into nonfiction for a while. Okay. For a while there, I was doing biographies, and then for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, I got into like serial killers and stuff.
Ooh,
so
and
then it was fine for a while, but then about the 7th or 8th book in, I started feeling like all humanity was lost because it was just like some of the most horrific things. But I just had this like morbid curiosity about like how they were able to commit these atrocities. So then I was like, I need to stop listening to that. And the biographies are great, but I just really wish I just can't commit all of it. Like I did Napoleon's biography, and that's a big freaking book. I did that one in Frederick Douglass. Crazy thick book because that guy was like a prolific writer as well. Yeah. Crazy thick book. Do you think I remember 10% of the stuff I read? I mean, all great stuff when you listen to it, but I was like, man, I really wish I could read something and it would commit more to memory versus me just like listening to something and being like, this is all this amazing stuff. And then 2 weeks later, I'm like, I don't remember a single thing.
Yeah.
I remember all the highlights of like, Frederick Douglass and Napoleon, for example, and I did World War I and World War II. Yeah. I mean, which is so much. I mean, those books are huge. The amount of stuff we know about those. But
science stuff is cool too. Yeah. String Flame said science stuff is cool. The Universe in a Nutshell by Stephen Hawking. If you've read that.
Yeah, I've done Stephen Hawking's books. I've done Albert Einstein's book on gravity waves.
Yep.
I used to be like really into those. And then I started getting into new mathematics and numerology quite a bit. I love those and the existence of like, patterns in nature, et cetera, et cetera. But again, that stuff, I can't commit it to memory. I'm like, I understand it when I'm reading it, but give me 2 years and I'm so far removed from it. And it's not something I apply every day. So,
a book I read not too long ago, which was really interesting. The Gene. It's an intimate history. It's written by Siddhartha Mukherjee. It's about the history of genetics, like in genetic research.
Oh, that's cool.
And it goes to the dark side of it, eugenics.
But
it's fascinating. It's called The Gene, and it's
gotcha.
It's a really fascinating book.
And then I did a whole bunch of books on mythology because
those are my favorite.
I got really into mythology. Oh, who's that funny guy that Stephen Fry?
Okay,
is that his name? I think it is. And he did a series of books on mythology, and they were hilarious. In fact, I think he's the same guy that did the voice on Little Big Planet.
Okay,
unless I'm mistaken. And they were just really funny, and it was just like really, just whimsical, and I just like listening to that. And mythology is something where it comes up all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much stuff named after mythology, and I just like
love
to know
mythology.
the
That's
origins.
my
I think
favorite.
yeah, exactly. It's just it's just something entertaining to listen to and kind of hear how these stories originated. And,
so next time
crazy the stories
Percy Jackson reads, we'll be diving straight into Percy Jackson books.
My son got really.
I
into
have not
the
Percy Jackson because it just felt cheesy. I don't know.
It is.
It's for a certain demographic. It's like for young adults and
kids.
But, and so my son read it. And he was like preteen, and he loved them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the demographic it was for. But I've tried to read because I used to try to read along with my sons when they were reading stuff like that, which is why I know all the Harry Potter stuff. But I couldn't do Percy Jackson. Just not.
We're doing well. I mean, I'm doing Percy Jackson with my son right now, so that's the only reason why.
Yeah, see,
it's perfect for that.
He's also 7, so it's.
DK wrote The Realm of the Elderlings, and I'm in the middle of that right now.
Realm of the Elderling? Okay.
Very good. The Robin Hobb series.
Yeah, Malazan's tough. I've tried several times.
Yeah, Malazan intimidates me. Dresden Files is also on my list.
I have Guardians of the Moon. Or is it Guardian of the Moon, the first book of Malazan, and I've started it I don't know how many times, and it just can't. I can't. I've tried. I'm not in the right headspace for it yet, so I'll get there one day.
But yeah, I'm on like the 7th book of that Elderlings series.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking about breaking into some philosophy books. I haven't read much philosophy, but I'm thinking about getting into some philosophy.
It's a little bit on the nose, but the Marcus Aurelius's book, what's it called? Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Yeah, it's about.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
it's Yasna. Yasna makes you want to.
So the thing about it's Stoicism at its core. It's the philosophy aspect of it, but it's all of Marcus Aurelius's personal thoughts, and you take it for a grain of salt if that makes sense. Like you can get nuggets out of it. Like people that read it and like take it as like this is how you should live your life that are psycho people and you should not do it that way. But like there are nuggets within if that most philosophies like that. If you take it and follow it to a T, like you're gonna be a psychopath. Like it's not how it's supposed to be consumed. But it's good. There's some really interesting nuggets in there.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. You want philosophy? That's a book I have. It's fascinating. Anyways, fun times. So yeah, we'll be doing that next week. Finishing part whatever we're on. What part are we on?
Oh, I forgot to say what chapter. Which episode was this?
82.
82. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so we're finishing part. Was it part 3?
Part 3, right?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Yeah,
I feel like we're on part 3.
Yeah. This is part 3.
Okay.
We're finishing part 3.
Yep.
We'll start. We'll after the week after that, we'll start part 4, where we'll go through the interludes. And
what are the interludes?
I think you'll learn next week.
Rude.
And then part 4, where it's actually like the real Cinder Lanch, because part 5 we'll do like in one episode. It's like the cleanup.
It's like an epilogue, essentially. Then
it's just a super long epilogue. Yeah, part 5 is just like the cleanup. But yeah,
clean up.
So we're getting there. We're getting close. So fun times. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, how you can found is at thecosbyreads.com. It's a website. It has links to merchandise. You get Scotstank shirts.
Scotstank fresh.
Wait.
Should I have focused on the shirt? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was trying to plug it. There you go.
Look at how great that is.
The Scotstank shirt.
So you can get our merchandise. Go to Patreon, support us there. Join a Discord. Some great conversations there. It's our Discord plus Little Reads plus I think the Feather Mountain. I think they're coming back for some episodes, maybe.
For a little bit, probably. Yeah, Delusions had said something about her and her dad were gonna be together for the first episodes, but I haven't seen. But nothing's
what are we talking about
yet. So Delusions at Grendel has a podcast with her dad, where they go
The TV
over
show
the
stuff.
show
Mhm.
because her dad has not read the books. And then when the Rings of Power comes out, Delusions hasn't read any of the Lord of the Rings. So she does like the first time reader show watcher for Rings
Sure.
of Power, and her dad is the Wheel of Time
The
reverse
Lord of
on
the Rings.
that.
Yeah.
But they're doing the shows, not the books. Is that what you're saying?
They're doing
Okay.
the shows.
show.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, they just both haven't, like, her dad hasn't read Wheel of Time and she hasn't read Lord of the Rings, so they just kind of walk each other through. They flip. It's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Also,
Yeah.
Delusions is really cool, so you guys should definitely like listen to her podcast.
Yeah, it's fun.
Which is called
Feather and Mountain.
Feather and Mountain.
Cool stuff.
Cool.
Plug our friend's stuff too.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if she started that. She mentioned that she might have started back up, but I know she has a lot going on right now. So
Yeah. She has like a
It might be
whole
fine.
entire
Go to a
new
Discord.
human being she has to take care of.
I know she has a new kid.
Yeah, a whole new baby. And she's like, whole kind of
She
life
calls him
stuff.
Crotch Goblin. That's what she calls
Crash
him.
Goblin. Yeah.
Crotch Goblin.
It's good life stuff, but it's a lot of life stuff.
that's good.
That's
Yeah.
good.
She has a lot of really good sayings.
I love that fact she calls her kids that. Crotch Goblins.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. That is so good.
That's
That's some classic stuff right there. That is just some classic stuff.
That's good
Yeah.
stuff. That's good.
I'm a fan of this.
Anyways, so yeah, go find us in those places. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Help the algorithm, help people find us. And that's pretty much all I got for this week. So see y'all later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you for watching the Cosmere Reads.
God stay fresh. God stay fresh.